It's a sunny day in Malaysia. Welcome everybody to the Motul Sepang 12hrs, the final round of the Intercontinental GT Challenge. You won't be surprised to know that it is a very hot day. Dakota Jane will be in the pit, Jack Nicholls is down on the grid, John Watson and David Addison in the air-conditioned booth overlooking the track, and I think at the moment we're in the best place. Lots of classes in this race, not just GT3. Let's have an explainer of those. Let's join Jack Nicholls.
Yeah, we'll try and keep it as simple as possible then as far as the classes are concerned. This is the pole-sitting car, the 912 Porsche. The lap time set yesterday by Fred Makovic. It'll be Richard Lietz who will start the car. And they're in GT3 and in the Pro class. Within GT3, you've got the Pro-Am and the Am. And then you move into the GT4 class where you've got the Ginettas. You've got GTC class as well for Cup cars. So Porsche Cup cars, Lamborghini Super Trofeo cars. And then you move into sort of the rest of the grid, really, the other assortment. Touring cars, TCR cars and Mark cars, the Australian team, have got a class all by themselves. But it's the GT3 ones, I think, that we're going to be focusing on the most this weekend.
Now, we understand that the Laurens Vanthoor Audi, which will be started by Christopher Haase, is going to have to start from the pit lane. It has a broken power generator. So let's go back to the grid, because presiding over this is the promoter of the Intercontinental GT Challenge, SRO's Stefan Rattel, and he can talk to Jack.
Stefan, the second year of SRO promoting the Sepang 12hrs, another really good grid at the front.
Yes, we're pleased with the level of competition. I think we have 5 makes that can really pretend for overall victory. It's good. It's been a long season for GT3 racing. You know, we started in Bathurst in February. Now we're on the 10th of December here, but it shows the growth of GT3 racing globally, and it's good.
Yeah, and a very short off-season as well, going back to Bathurst again, and more Blancpain in Asia coming up.
Yes, we're launching the Blancpain GT Series Asia, 6th round, a strong platform, lots of benefits for the teams, a lot of investment in promotion, in TV production, in TV distribution. I definitely believe Asia needs a professionally run series, and we're gonna provide that.
And we're going to be crowning our first Intercontinental GT Challenge winner today.
Yes, first.
Well, tonight.
Tonight. There is a close fight between 3 of them, and we'll see who the winner will be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Laurens Vanthoor comes into this race with this advantage of 6 points over Shane van Gisbergen in the Intercontinental GT Challenge. Stephen Kane and Guy Smith out of contention, of course, partly because they're behind on points and also because they can't add to it because they're not here, but René Rast could. René Rast is here for the Phoenix Audi squad. He will drive along with Pierre Kaffer and Marcus Winkelhock. Whereas Laurens Vanthoor shares with Christopher Haase and Robin Frins, and Shane van Gisbergen is with Alvaro Parent and Côme Ledegar in the McLaren. Let's have a quick look at the grid. Porsche and McLaren at the front, Porsche and Ferrari on row 2. The Lamborghini of J-Lock with Manabu Arrido at the wheel starts 5th, and then from the pit it is going to be the Robin Frins, Christopher Haase, Laurens Vanthoor Audi with Christopher Haase starting. Then you've got the Ferrari 458, the De Silva Patterson Dominic Ang car, Ferrari, Audi, Ferrari to round out the top 10 on the grid. And then you start to see the variety. You've got the Toyota LMP1 V8 powered Toyota Prius that runs in Super GT, one of the older Mercedes, the GT3 SLS AMG, the Audi next on the grid ahead of the Super Trofeo Huracan. Rick Broiker's one of the guns at the wheel of that. After electrical problems yesterday, number 50 Ferrari is going to be a car to watch, to see in the first stint Alessandro Pierguidi get up the order. Then you've got the Cup spec Porsche, the 2 Mark spec cars from Australia, the Mazda and the Focus. The GT4 class comes next with the Ginetta G55s, 19th and 20th on the grid. Darren Burke and Tom Hibbert behind the wheel. And then the touring car spec Seat Leon. It's one of the old one-make Super Copas, that for Douglas Coe. Raihi Sakaguchi is next on the grid in the Lexus. And then the Honda Civic of Taikayan Boone. Takashi Ito is next, and Grunter Johnson Subaru at the back, or the car of Jim Hunter, but he will drive it, Grant Johnson. That's going to start from the pit lane, and as the cars now work their way up to the last corner.
I just wonder into turn 1, is Alvaro Parent prepared to do something pretty ruthless to dive either over or under or around Richard Lietz in the pole position Porsche? Alvaro, I know, is one of those guys who will use it. If he's got it, a chance, he's going to have a go at it, and watch that McLaren to see if it comes out of turn 2 ahead of the Porsche.
We're about to find out then as the cars work their way up towards the timing line. The lights go green. The Motul Sepang 12hrs is go. Porsche versus McLaren on the run down to turn 1. It is going to be from pole position. Richard Lietsen on the inside, but Earl Bamber in the yellow and white Porsche dives up there 4 wide down to turn 1. And Earl Bamber leads. Alvaro Parent on the outside line. Carlo Van Dam goes even wider. He's third, now fourth as they wriggle their way down to turn 2. Bamber leading the way then. Alvaro Parent goes second. And Richard Lietsen trying to keep out of trouble there and avoid the curb. He's third, fourth up the inside. Manabu Arido in the Lamborghini. Fifth is Carlo Van Dam as they work their way then now through turn 4, heading up to 5 for the first time. It is Porsche first and third, but they've switched around from grid order. Brave stuff by Earl Bamber, but the width of the road helped, but it was a great start.
Yes, he just judged it properly, got the run, had the slight advantage coming up into turn 1, had track position. Most of that was the key of getting into turn 1 and having control of the corner. Alvaro Parent got the job done on Richard Lietsen, but of course he didn't take into account that Earl Bamber was sneaking up alongside the pit lane barrier.
And so it means then as the cars work their way now through turns 7 and 8 that you've got the race leader Earl Bamber trying to break away from the rest of them, try and build up an advantage. You heard Nick Tandy on the grid say that he was happy with P3 and Earl might be able to gain 1 place. Well, he's surpassed even that. He's up into the race lead. Nick and Earl, of course, together with Nico Hülkenberg last year to win Le Mans, so they're a good partnership, know one another's way of racing and make a good combination and will progress to the LMP1 squad for the World Endurance Championship next year. Alessandro Pierguidi also making progress in the number 50 Ferrari after the electrical gremlins of yesterday. There is Pierguidi, and no surprise, he's on the money.
I mean, he will be up, he'll make another position as he comes just into turn 13, 14. Got a sister car ahead of it, so Alessandro Pierguidi will use the slipstream, such as it is, the top speed here, I say around 245 or so kilometers per hour. The two Ferraris pretty evenly matched. Funnily enough, talking about the 488, the current Ferrari as opposed to the 458, which is the blue and silver one there, and the yellow is a 488. 488 slightly down the top speed of the 458. That's the balance of performance. So the year-older car still has a competitive position.
Race leaders then come across the line at the end of that number 1. We started a fraction earlier than midday, and Earl Bamber leading by 0.6 of a second over Alvaro Parent. Richard Lietsen is third, Manabu Arido is fourth, Carlo Van Dam fifth, sixth is Garnet Patterson's Ferrari, seventh Alessandro Pierguidi, and he started 15th on the grid. Then it's Pierre Caffer 8th, Nagai 9th, and Taku Bamber is in 10th place.
Yeah, Christopher Haase, the car that started in the pit lane, he's up to 18th position. He'll be making progress relatively quickly until he probably gets to the bottom end of the top 10, then things will slow down.
And Alessandro Pierguidi wanting to try and get through the traffic. Garnet Patterson, along with Dominic Ang and Adrian De Silva, they run in the Pro-Am category, could well be on for a class win, but Pierguidi here is leaving nothing on the table. He wants that place.
Yeah, and you can see he was later on the brakes going into turn 9, just having to wait. There's nothing you can do coming through turns 10 and 11. Exiting 11 now, as close as you can get to the rear of the Ferrari without losing front downforce. So Alessandro Pierguidi, he knows that his race car in a lap is going to be quicker. It may not have the advantage where he needs it, but up the inside, slides it through, makes the pass. That's the difference between a top GT3 driver and a very, very accomplished GT3 driver. Pierre Caffer right on the tail of the Ferrari. Now he's got to find to get away up the inside, make the cutback, gets up alongside on the exit, gets the better drive. But the Ferrari straight line speed in the position that it is now in is going to make it difficult for the Audi to control it, almost coming together side by side. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Caffer will have the advantage because he's got the wider angle to sweep around. And can he get, no, the Ferraris, well, that's good defense, very good defense.
And they come out of the corner still side by side, and they almost lean on each other. Pierre Caffer, though, will have the inside line, but now we're going to see which is the quicker car in a straight line. You've also got two Ferraris as one, as Pierguidi hides behind Van Dam, goes to the outside line, and right the way round he has done it. Great move down to turn 1. What's happening to Pierre Caffer? He gets up the inside of Garnet Patterson, and he goes through as well. Peter Cox in the pits. This is one for Jack or Dakota to go and research for us if they can, because straight away, one of the cars and teams that you would anticipate to be there pounding around for 12 hours almost without any dramas has got something sinister right away. The car has just left the pit lane, but an early unscheduled stop for Peter Cox. So through 7 and 8 they come. Traffic ahead as well. Wide over the curb goes Perez.
He needs to be careful. As Alessandro Pierguidi looks to slide down the inside on the Porsche, and Richard Lietsen is having to keep an eye ahead and one other eye on the back. But the Ferrari, clearly the quickest of these three cars, as we look at them right now.
Up the inside goes Pierre Guidi. The change will happen for third before it happens for second, that's for sure. So having been trying to find a way past Alvaro Parent and failed, now Ricard Leeds has to go defensive, and so Parent is released for a moment. The two of them run nose to tail then. Now, out of turn 12, is this where Pierre Guidi makes a move on the inside? No, can't quite do it. Turns his way through 14, the tighter element of that sequence.
Car 9 must respect track limits in turn 8.
And that is Alvaro Parent being warned about track limits. 3 back markers to work through. Can they get through them on the run to turn 15? They'll get past one. The Toyota gets out of the way. McLaren through, Porsche through, Ferrari through. Then the Ginetta is going to be the next car to negotiate.
Porsche's going to take the lead. He's got an advantage coming out of... Oh, I was
not
a bit
quite.
anticipated
yeah,
that.
because Parent's just got his nose in front. He will move across and defend from Ricard Leeds, who goes to the outside line. They'll go either side of the back marker. Parent on the inside line, Leeds on the outside. Can he dive across up the inside? He's going to be hung out to dry if he's not careful on the outside. And here comes Pierre Guidi to try to get into that mix as well.
Must respect track limits in turn 8.
More track limits warnings come as second, third and fourth all concertina together once more. But now look, Pierre Guidi tries to take advantage. He gets squeezed one way, but he's got the momentum to go to the other side. And I think this time, even though he's on the outside line, he's going to have a real go. But can he get his nose in front? Yes, he can. He breaks desperately late. He's done it, but he's going to run wide, surely. Pierre Guidi does just have the advantage, but he will run up wide onto the curb. Leeds stays alongside him, but now it's going to be all about Grunt in a straight line down towards turn 1, because Pierre Guidi has the better line. He's got the inside line and he's got his nose in front. And finally, Alessandro Pierre Guidi from 15th on the grid has gained 1 extra place. He goes third, but does he go wide? Does he go deep? Ricard Leeds tries to come back at him, but finally Alessandro Complimenti, job done.
There we see Fred Makovic. He's going to be in that, what was the third place Porsche, now the fourth place Porsche.
When the Porsche's dropped back,
Parent.
and Parent again is close to disaster. So is the Lamborghini that scrabbles wide. Alvaro Parent oh so close to the edge there. The drivers at Porsche are ready. Alvaro Parent hanging on to second place. Pierre Guidi has a look to the inside, and he's going to do it because Parent leaves the door open, and Alessandro Pierre Guidi goes second. And here comes Ricard Leeds, but he goes for the pit lane. So it's 9-1-2 that bails out of fourth place. So in comes Leeds. Makovic will take that over. Here is the new second place man, Alessandro Pierre Guidi. Alvaro Parent third.
Fuel going in to the lead Porsche, and now the wheels can be changed. So this is all a choreographed piece of work by these guys. Only 2 are allowed to work on the car at one time. So Porsche will need to make sure that they get that number 911 Porsche back out. It had just under a 10-second advantage when he made the pit stop. So there's the car off the jacks. They have to hold it. Wait.
Nick's got the message.
It's so frustrating.
Absolutely.
When you've done the job under the requisite amount of time and you have to sit there. There's the Ferrari coming back. Is it coming in or coming out?
That's coming out and stays ahead of the McLaren.
Stays ahead of the McLaren.
So we'll see in a moment who has taken over what. We know it's Nick Tandy because the driver ID confirms what we'd seen.
So whereabouts is the Porsche? No, that's not it.
Just over the timing line, there in the background you can see lights are flashing, is Fred Makovic, and he is going to have a go at getting back ahead of the McLaren, which he will do. So the Porsche goes ahead of the McLaren. Number 9 McLaren with Colm Ledegar at the wheel is the one that has lost out really on the pit stops because it has dropped back 1 place behind the Porsche.
So we can see this little battle going on.
And that's been a change, hasn't it? The Audi ahead of the Lamborghini now.
Whoa,
then they
whoa,
almost get to grief at the end of the straight.
Bit of hip and shoulder there.
Absolutely. Hiromani in 88 then on the tail of Robin Frins, who's taken over in 15. Robin Frins getting up through the order now. They did, and that's the Prius that has had a spin. It is number 30 with Koki Saga at the wheel.
Why did he not put the brakes on? Now we're going to have a safety car or a full course yellow.
That's the race leader who's now been picked up by the safety car. So a full course yellow goes to a safety car period, and that potentially is bad news for the leader because everybody will concertina up. But the safety car is about to catch the traffic ahead. So this is going to take some unravelling, isn't it? Because you can't release the cars because they'll be straight into traffic.
The Ferrari's into the... What's happened? Why have we got the Ferrari coming into the pit lane?
Pass, unless it's to top up on fuel while you're doing a slow speed, and you can just do a splash and dash now and not have to worry about your delta time for later. The safety car will be in this lap, but there are an awful lot of people that are going to be hung out to dry because of this.
I just wonder, was the wisdom of the Ferrari pit stop for whatever reason, whether it is refueled, so they just decided to do a splash and dash and just... Whether they didn't get all the fuel in originally, I don't know.
So after 36 laps, Porsche 1-2, with McLaren third and passing Lathoris then in fourth. When he came into the pit lane, he'll have lost more than that because he's now behind the Audis, isn't he? So Rast and Frins and also Hiromani will be up ahead of him. So seventh is where passing Lathoris is now after that pit stop. Right, we're going to go racing this time. So have a look at the amount of traffic between the leaders. How many back markers have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nick Tandy now starts to weave around to get the warmth back into the Yokohama rubber. And as the field comes towards turn 15, the likes of Ledegar and Lathoris and Rast and Frins will want to be on their toes to try and gain places. Passing Lathoris having, of course, lost a couple on the pit stops anyway. Nick
Tandy's gone.
Blast away. But look, you see others aren't even...
Green flag, green flag.
Dreaming.
The little Honda Civic asleep. There are others still miles back playing catch up, half a lap adrift. And so Fred Makovici has now got Kerm Ledegar right up behind him. Nick Tandy's going to storm away. He's gone. He's checked out already. And the little Honda Civic, look, barely up to racing speed. It's being overtaken even before the timing line there.
And the two Audis getting alongside each other. So Rennie Rast and Robin Frins. I think Frins is the one trying to make the progress to get alongside the sister.
Yeah, and also Harimini there in the Lamborghini tries to get between the pair of them as they work their way down towards turn 1. So the Audis are split by the Lamborghini Huracan, who then finds a face full of Mitch Gilbert as they work their way through the corner. But Nick Tandy is away and gone then. Makovici runs second, Ledegar is third, and then it's going to be Audi, Lamborghini, Audi 4, 5, 6. Passing Lathoris is seventh as they work their way now through the right-hander at turn 3. Heading uphill then on this first restart lap. Lights are flashing because in a big hurry is Makovici there. Number 16, Rene Rast, then he stayed ahead of Robin Frins. It was Frins who lost out against Kazuki Hiromani. Up front, Nick Tandy's advantage, 10 seconds. But right now, Jack Nicholls, it's looking very good this for Porsche, isn't it?
Certainly is, and I just wondered, Makovici had a very, very slow restart. Just wondered if that was to gap the other Porsche in front, but his problem was he was stuck behind that Honda Civic.
Exactly,
that just wouldn't seem to go anywhere, and now Makovici with that 5.5 second lead over Ledegar. What that safety car period really did was bring the Audis back into play, because they were absolutely nowhere, both in qualifying and also and well.
Car 9.
A drive-through penalty.
Disrespect of track limits.
Kerm Ledegar. So the number 9 McLaren for track limits gets a drive-through, and that is our first serious drama for anybody. It's the first drive-through as well, but for number 9 then, a drive-through penalty.
A yellow flag because Hiranuma has had a spin in that SLS. They were the only GT3 car sort of out of sequence, having had troubles earlier on, and now a couple more troubles for them.
But thankfully no damage, no harm done. Engine keeps going and the car back into the race. That was the same corner that we lost the Prius at early on, and the Mercedes arrives with an awful lot of pace, gets wide up onto the curb, back overtakes front and gyrates out of harm's way. But we've got the green flag out again, so no real harm done. You're right, Shane van Gisbergen into the number 9 McLaren, fuel and tyres, so full service, 94-second pit stop this. But yeah, Ledegar, good as he is, wasn't the obvious choice, but no. I think actually he scrubbed up pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely, as they lost the nut there, but the Jackman had a spare one, or the tyre gun man I should say, had a spare one that he could quickly whip out, and away goes Shane van Gisbergen.
Does he? Come on, time being wasted.
There he goes.
So we've got passing Lathoris. Tell you what, they're getting their money's worth out of him because he is doing a long stint. He took this car over, remember, round about the same time that everybody else did. He got into it on lap 30. We're now on lap 65, and they're back into the race. So we didn't need a full course yellow, we didn't need a safety car, just cover it under a local yellow, and if people obey the flag signals, you're good. But Lathoris doing a long stint.
Yeah, he's doing a good run. He's had a good season, I'd say, passing Lathoris. They've had some good qualifying. I think he was leading the race at Paul Ricard in the early stages. All sectors are now green, says the race director. But Lathoris, the 23-year-old Thai driver, did a couple of years at single-seaters when he was about 17, but made quite an early switch to GT racing.
The leader is in. Passing Lathoris has just come down the pit lane at the end of 66 laps. If anybody needs a bottle of water, it is that man, because that has been an impressive stint. So 66 laps he has completed, in other words 36 in his stint, and now let's see whether or not they can do this in under the 74 seconds. The other slightly perplexing thing is that by keeping about that bit longer, you've probably used up so much fuel by doing it that you've got to put so much more in. You've negated what you gained in that splash and dash earlier on.
Well, that's true. Unless they now stick to doing their pit stops at the half past, where everybody's at the top of the hour for the remainder of the race. So there is Patrick Pilet retaking the lead of the Sepang 12 hours. Over the line he comes, down towards turn 1.
Second will go Patrick Pilet, and Lathoris is going to be fourth at best, maybe fifth, because he has this long, slow drive down the pit lane. Here comes Winkelhock, there's Vantour behind him, so it's really whether or not the Ferrari stays ahead of the Lamborghini or not, and it should do, so it'll put him into fifth place. So it's going to be touch and go, isn't it, because there he is over the white line. He can accelerate now, but here comes Adrian Zaug. He will stay ahead, but Zaug has got the opportunity to attack on this lap. He will brake very late, seeing the Ferrari ahead of him, but yes, Lathoris then brings the car in. Michele Rugolo takes it over, and the car is in fifth spot as it rejoins.
So light rain reported at 14 and 15, and it has now been declared a wet track. So there is the McLaren, and that is bad news. Work going around the left front, damaged suspension. Looks like there's something has failed. So whatever the problem is, that is pretty unfortunate. As we said, a little battle going on here between the Ferrari and the Audi coming out of turn 2, and is it?
This is for fourth.
Rugolo. It's Rugolo trying to go the long way around, but he's not going to find it easy. Comes back,
fends him off, doesn't he?
Yeah, tries to make the cut back and up the inside into turn 4. And it depends if there has been any rain up there. It's a clean pass up the inside. Michele Rugolo gets it done. Now, how easy was that?
Rugolo attacks again. So perhaps with the rain, cooler track temperatures helping the lap times. Through the traffic goes Winkelhock, but Rugolo gets the opportunity now. Up on the inside line, job done. Great opportunistic pass, and Michele Rugolo has done it. He's through, he's up into third place. Great move.
That's a view that everybody in this race has had of 911 Porsche. The rear lead car makes its way out, so it's got to get down to the end of the pit lane. It's not very far from the end of the pit lane. Now it goes, and the number on the 912 is only just coming round turn 15. Should be coming into view. Let's have a look and see where it is. There it is.
This is in GTC, where Peter Cox now has got himself onto the back of Melvin Moe. Lamborghini versus Audi as they turn their way up towards the right-hander. And Peter Cox has the inside line, he's got the momentum, and he's got the speed, and he's got the job done.
Must respect track limits in turn 2.
And the car that's being retrieved is the McLaren, I fear. So that is off the road, Shane van Gisbergen at turn 6. And this is how he did it. He's a mile off the road. He's gone so far off, he's almost going to have to pay to get back in.
He's now got the car running again, but whatever that spin was, or maybe there's another car involved, we didn't see all that, just so suddenly there's the McLaren in the gravel.
Safety car.
Gravel that's being shed as he comes back on track. That's always a major problem. Look, try and stay off the racing line, Shane. Don't shake the car on the race line. All you're going to do is make it worse for everyone else.
So, up towards turn 15 comes the safety car. Everybody jinking around to keep the warmth in the Yokohamas, to keep the tire pressures up as well. But yes, Alessandro Pierguidi really has benefited out of the safety car. A great job done. So we're about to go racing.
Green flag.
Heading up towards
Green
the line.
flag.
We'll get them underway to turn 1 and just see what Pierguidi can do. Of course, the problem he's going to face is that he's stuck behind a slower car, but as they work their way now over the timing line, we're going to be good to go as the field then accelerates now with the green lights on down towards turn 1. So into the braking zone they will go now. Pierguidi can pull out of the draft from 36 seconds back or whatever it was. He's 4.8 seconds back. So it's Porsche, Ferrari now for race honours as they drop down towards turn 1.
Gap between the top 3 comes down again to just 1.1 seconds now. But look what a good exit that was from Arido. Is he going to be close enough on the run down to turn 1? He's tucked right underneath the rear wing of that Audi. Moves towards the outside. This is the battle for 5th place. Absolutely door to door. Can he get the job done on the brakes around the outside? No, Hasse was strong there.
He was. I could actually see tears at that point.
Oh goodness, I thought he was going to lunge it down into 2 Rosberg style, but just thought better of it in the end. But it's only a matter of time, surely, for Arido. The Lamborghini is through. So Arido is ahead of Hasse.
That happened into turn 15. That's what I thought. Coming out of turn 14, that was going to be his best chance.
Okay, so great move from Arido, one presumes. Here's a look at the replay. Tucked right behind. Is he going to dummy him?
Well, in fairness, Hasse took it like a man. gotten past the Lamborghini at one stage. Now it's been returned, and Rito's just going to pull away pretty comfortably and pretty easily.
There is Pierre Guidi, and equally in this next lap or so, will Pierre Guidi close in on the race leader Earl Bamber, who has to take really evasive action to try and get past that Mercedes. Manages to do so, and ultimately didn't seem to lose too much time. But nevertheless, a bit of a heart-in-mouth moment for Earl Bamber, the race leader. Is Earl Bamber in the pits this time around? Yes, he is. And Pierre Guidi stays out then. Here is the 912 Porsche, now in the hands of Fred Macavicki.
And there is the McLaren that at one point was going to be a potential race winner.
Yeah, but now all sorts of troubles for the McLaren. So here comes the 911 Porsche. We're expecting the 911 Porsche to resume the lead of the race.
It will.
And indeed it is.
Oh, it's going to be close.
It's
going
to be
very
tight,
close.
isn't it?
Careful of that white line. He's managed not to cross it.
Macavicki's up to racing speed in the 912 Porsche, and it is the 911 that manages to hold on in the lead, and Nick Tandy now at the wheel.
Well, now the spots of rain are becoming ever more of a feature of this race, and for the teams, as we look at the order, with Ferrari just giving up its lead by pitting over the Christopher Haase Audi in second place. In third spot becomes 911, which is Nick Tandy ahead of Fred Macavicki and René Rast. Is fifth, Hiromani sixth, Garnet Patterson's Ferrari seventh, then it's Yoshida, Van Dam and Tiao to round out the top 10. The team's now trying to work out just how wet it is and how hard they can push and what they need to do about tyres. And there, getting ready, is Phoenix for a driver change. So it looks as though Haase is going to be in imminently, with Robin Frins ready to take over. But I still would be worried that Christopher has done more than 65 minutes, and that will be looked at, I'm sure, by the officials.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh! They said together as one mind. That is the Subaru biffing off the side of the Lexus.
Yeah, right. I've been going to the Dodgems when I was a kid.
Wimbledon Stadium, eat your heart out.
So, Ardy bringing one of that. Is this Haase in now?
No, that's Rast, I think. 16 he's in. It's René Rast, and he has done 6 laps. So I reckon this is to go on to wets. They're going to roll the dice and put him on wets.
Well, split your effort. Smart thing to do for the team. But one of them is going to be a winner, one of them is not. So I don't know who's going to be the person. Let's have a look and see coming down into turn 9. Well, that's the Audi coming down, lights flashing furiously. The Toyota and the Subaru.
And the Subaru turns in, bang, and then gets sort of whacked across, bang again. That was all in front of Christopher Haase, who is now in the pit lane. So Christopher Haase in at the end of lap 127 for him.
A slick tyre time and a wet weather tyre time right now is almost identical, but the security that you get from the wet weather tyre allows you to use the car with confidence and to, oh, it goes off. Nick Tandy's gone off on the exit of turn 4. Just gets it back on before he could have been in serious trouble. Now that's wet. There's almost water running across the exit down at turn 4. I think, and look now, people that are on slicks are really struggling.
So Tandy on the slicks, running off the road, and of course the danger is as people do that, they bring all the mud and the gravel back with them. Here it is in replay then, so down through turn 3, Nick Tandy turns into the corner, finds the water.
There's water standing, back end goes. He just has got to get out of the throttle, not put any input into the steering, and try and use the grip, if you want to call it grip, that the gravel is giving you, and get back on. And that's what's happened in the space of 1 lap. Serious deterioration in conditions at turn 4.
Nick didn't fight the car, did he? He didn't sort of try and hustle it back on, just let the car do its own thing.
Correct.
Steers it back towards the line, regroups, carries on, rather than fighting it, having a bigger incident.
Nick Tandy getting aggravated on the lights, wants to get up this back straight as quickly as possible. There's the Ferrari. Is it coming in? It must surely come in this time. And the Porsche, Tandy, is he going to come in? He's going to make a fade. He makes the late cut. He doesn't actually
He's
make
off the road,
corner.
that's what he's done. He's not gone to the pit necessarily. Nick's had another off as he tried to get through the traffic. Can he dig himself out? Yes, he's got the momentum, but he's got to come into the pits this time because he's miles away from the track itself.
Yes,
so Tandy is in.
He was intending to come in, but he wanted to get ahead of that slower car, and in the process put himself into jeopardy, and then has cost the car another 10 seconds for that little trip over the gravel.
But Pierre Guidi stays out. Now, you're right about the lap times falling off a cliff. That was a 2:33. So 11 seconds he's lost now because of the weather. I'm amazed
Look
he
at that
stayed
now.
out.
Here we got it. Here it is. Here's what we thought at some point will come.
Why is he staying out?
I don't know. So Pierre Guidi's got to come in. Surely he can't continue out.
Well, Robin Frins is hacking away at this deficit as well, so number 15 Audi is now in the mix very definitely. That long stint by Hasser has helped. Rene Rast goes through doing 2:24s. Actually, Robin Frins is quicker than Rene Rast at the moment in these two equivalent cars, but their lap time's now good, although Fred Makovic, don't forget, he's on wets and he's in the mix also. Next time around, look at the amount of water there, it's just horrible.
That's difficult.
So Alessandro Pierre Guidi is in the last sector. Is the leader going to bail for the pits this time? Surely he has to, because not only is he at risk of going off the road, he's at risk of losing all the time he gained, and he's off the road virtually.
Yeah, but he's in the pit
but he is in the pit road now.
Yeah, he had to come in.
So in he comes. He was like Nick Tandy, very close to the edge.
And you can also be in trouble in the pit lane, because there's enough water there just at that point where you turn left, getting caught out.
So Pierre Guidi in, and now the lead is going to change, because in a moment the next car's through. We'll come over the timing line, and we've had Robin Frins then go by into the lead of the race now. So the number 15 Audi in this last hour and a half or so has very definitely become a major player, having been a bit anonymous early on. Robin Frins at the wheel now leads the race. That is not good news, is it? Problems for 912.
Now, is that a problem causing him in the pits, or has he gone off track and done something, and that's why he's in the pit? It doesn't look like there's any damage to the car, but they're all frantically working around the front suspension.
Meantime, down in the pit lane, Audi getting ready for another stop, and it's going to be number 16 that will be brought in. So Rene Rast's stint has been an okay one, but it's not really been a standout stint.
Those are slicks, so that's going to be a brave... Yeah, it is. A set of slicks. It's going to be a brave man. It's going to be Marcus Winkelhock, who's going to be the first, we believe, to make the transition, and that's a pretty good move in my view.
Did I miss anything in the last hour?
Welcome back, Jack. What did you miss? Well, it's drying, it's still been wet, and when to go onto wets was one talking point, and now it's when to go onto slicks.
It's amazing, isn't it, how quickly it can turn around. Because literally an hour ago it was dry, and I think Hasser had just come in, hadn't he? He'd just come into the pits an hour ago, and then now it's an entirely different race, isn't it? So Robin Frins is leading the way, a minute clear of the Porsches who looked, or of the one Porsche who looked to have it under control. Brake problems for the 912 Porsche. Audi's suddenly looking like they could do something here.
Absolutely right.
But I think in the wet really was their only chance, seemingly. So into the pits comes Robin Frins. So Christopher Hasser in that car previously, so that means it'll be Laurens van Thor who will take over.
Out there is Nick Tandy, and there's going to be a driver change there. Out he gets. Audi leaves the pit lane. Quick weave to see where the grip is and try and urge a bit of warmth into the tyres, but Robin Frins then confirmed as staying behind the wheel, back out on track. Now, of course, interesting the way the two marks have played this, isn't it? You keep one driver in at Audi who knows what the track conditions are like. At Porsche, you put somebody fresh into the car, but who doesn't know what the track conditions are like. Yeah,
we'll see whether that turns out good or bad for the Porsche as it now leaves the pit lane. So Robin Frins holds the lead still, and out comes the Porsche. I think Zaug and Winkelhock have gone past, so they've come out in 4th place for the Porsche. But it's amazing how it changes, because we had such a close battle. We had the top 6 or 7 separated by about 20 seconds. Now all of a sudden, Carlo Van Dam down in 7th is 3 laps down.
Nick, you're fresh out the car. That was a really interesting stint. It was wet and now it's dry. How are you feeling about it?
Pretty hot and pretty worn out, actually. It was quite hard work. I don't... obviously, I think we missed the time to come in for wet tyres by a lap or so. We had a problem with the wiper also, which is making it really difficult to see in heavy rain. But fortunately, when we went off aquaplaning, we were able to get back on, and you know, we're still in the race. There's a long way to go. But yeah, it was when I wasn't in the gravel skating along, it was quite fun. Yeah.
The lead car remains Robin Frins as the light starts to fade. It was going a bit gloomy anyway when the rain came. But of course we will end up in the complete darkness. So what are we expecting? About 8 o'clock, so just under a couple of hours before it becomes properly dark.
So we haven't heard yet from Laurens van Thor. He's set to be the Intercontinental GT Challenge champion, although we are only halfway through the race, and he is talking to Dakota.
Lawrence, if it finishes as it stands right now, you will get another title championship
Drive-through
under your
penalty
belt. Hey,
car
isn't that a good way to
93.
finish your career,
Driver
Audi?
stint infringement.
That question is way too early. Do you have a different one?
I'm always hopeful. Come on, you must be hopeful.
Well, I'm not thinking too much about it. We still have 5 hours to go. Makes no sense to think about now. There's a lot of things that can happen. We have a good lead now, but one safety car and that's all gone. So there's still a very long way to go.
This is how the points are in the Intercontinental GT Challenge. But if things stay as they are, plenty of ifs in 5.5 hours, Laurens van Thor would be the Intercontinental GT Challenge champion by 10 points from René Rast, a point up on Shane van Gisbergen. And off the road has got the 50 Ferrari. Michele Rugolo at pit in, he's off the road. Gets it back on. He's not the first person we've seen getting it wrong there, but Michele Rugolo off and
he's
pit
actually,
in. And he wasn't going for the pitch, was he? He just went off there. He's back on the circuit, so Rugolo with an off. So out gets Winkelhock. And are they going to do tyres? The tyres are there ready. It's a two-part pit stop. You can do the driver change and the fuel first, and then if you want to do anything else,
Yellow flag, turn 9.
You can do the tyres. We've got another yellow flag out at turn 9, and we've also gone to light signalling now as the daylight starts to fade.
1-5 rejoin. All sectors green.
Now we do have the car on the jacks, and 1-5 we're being told about. 15 is Robin Prince.
Now that's strange because that's the car I thought the driver confidence was high because the grip levels were high, and then he unexpectedly gets caught out down at turn 9, where we've just seen that Ferrari making its way back onto the circuit. So whether there's something down there, I can't believe that part of the track is suddenly wetter than anywhere else, or whether there's maybe some fluids have been dropped. Let's have a look and see. Coming down, this is the lead car under brakes. Did he catch the white line? No, he didn't. He just turned over, and the back end he knew it was going immediately. Again, that's just as if the
night signaling.
The level of grip has just vanished from the Audi.
Let's hear what Robin Prince has to say about all of this.
So what happened there? You guys were kind of nowhere, then all of a sudden you're in the lead of the race.
Yeah, we boxed in the safety car, so we were a couple of laps ahead in the fuel consumption. And in the end, it really paid off because it started to rain just before we had to box. So then we put the rain tires on and we gained everything. So we were in the lead by then. And yeah, I had a good stint in my rain setup. Pulled away a bit from René and then dried up, put slicks on. It was really tricky because it started rain and dry up. So it was fun.
It's Christopher Hassett taking over from Laurens van Thor in that leading Phoenix Audi. It looks like it's Nick Tandy who's going to take over in that 911 Porsche that was leading the race in the early stages.
We had it down as a winner.
Yeah.
I think they might have had it down as a winner too, but
yeah.
How things change.
So Hassett, Rast, Pierre Guidi, the top three. Then it's Tandy, Leitz and Hiramine. They are 2 laps down. Van Dam 5 laps down. Yoshimoto and Ang in 8th and 9th. Colombo. It's Peter Cox leading the GTC class there in 11th position. Leading the M cars class is Jake Camilleri. And leading GT4 at the moment is Hibbert in that 55 Ginetta.
Yellow flag, turn 12.
Yellow flag at turn 12, we're hearing that number 91 has been off the road and back on again. Keith Kasulka at the wheel, and that's the car that's brought out the yellow.
Is that the Subaru?
I don't think it is. I think that
was the Honda or the Subaru.
The Subaru's in the pitch, just seen that.
Then that's the Honda.
I reckon that's the number 7 Honda, isn't it?
I mean, turn 12 is one of the quick corners around the circuit, and he's found himself front-wheel drive in the gravel trap.
But I like the fact he's got the hazard lights on. I'm still curious to know what could have happened for that Ferrari if they hadn't left it out for so long on the slicks in the wet, because we were saying for lap after lap, why don't they bring it in? And clearly he was losing time, but all these ifs and maybes.
I kind of think it sort of was answered by Robin Friends when he said that the surface is giving up a lot of grip, and whatever the composition of the tarmac is here, it seems to be considerate to the Yokohama tyre and to the competitors.
Side by side they run. It's Pierre Guidi ahead on the outside down to turn 1. The headlights were overlapping in the traffic, and indeed through goes Pierre Guidi, then up into 3rd place. The Ferrari has done it. Yeah. Alessandro Pierre Guidi goes ahead of Patrick Pilet, who has got nothing in defence, has he? That Ferrari is through.
There's a car stopped at pit exit there.
Oh,
the
yes, you're
marshals
right.
are trying to push it out. What car has just come out?
Ginetta, Charlie Robertson,
Maybe.
was ahead of the Audi, or the Lamborghini of Rick Broikers ahead of that.
Well,
That's the Ginetta shape, isn't it?
it's Robertson is the only one to have left the pits but not completed the first sector.
It is, Charlie Robertson.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Full course yellow now.
So full course yellow, yet again. That's the fourth one of the race. One has developed into a safety car, but the last two certainly have just stayed at full course yellows.
I think it must be for the weather because the Ginetta was pretty much
Out of harm's
gone,
way,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
So
then
it makes sense. If you can keep the race going, albeit under controlled conditions, then that's for the benefit of everybody. But
Freights is in the pits now, as is Pierre.
yes. So in at the end of Robin Frinn's lap 257. So that was a 24-lap stint, and Patrick Pilet in for him 255. So that was also a 24-lap stint.
Safety
catch
car,
up.
safety car.
And so now we go safety car.
But it's not with the leader, so it's with 16, which
Yeah.
is Kaffer, so that's going to be second place.
So the race leader has gained out of this.
So lights off on the safety car. Pierre Kaffer is going to be at the head of this queue. There's a couple of cars in between
Green
and the
flag.
other cars
Green flag.
that he is racing with, and there is the green flag, and Pierre Kaffer floors the throttle, comes across the line, and he gets the racing back underway then. So Kaffer across the line in second place. How far behind is Passin Lathoris in third position? Wait for him to cut the time, maybe 6 seconds back, and Earl Bamber is right behind him. He is right behind him, down in the gloom somewhere, side by side, on the brakes, coming down into turn one. And around the outside there is going Earl Bamber. In the wet conditions, what a move that is to get past Passin Lathoris and up into third position.
Up the inside line, tries to go Earl Bamber, can't do it there. And so now there's the run down towards turn one. The Audi will come out of the corner ahead. And as Pierre Kaffer has the advantage, Earl Bamber is going to get up alongside him. So the sets of headlights come towards almost as one. Spray kicked up from behind as well. Porsche dives to the outside line. It's still Kaffer ahead, but so late on the brakes, Earl Bamber. Right round the outside. Is there any extra grip? He stands his ground on the outside. He's going to get the curve on the inside at turn two. Look at this. He's done it. Fantastic. Brilliant bit of driving by Earl Bamber in the rain, in the darkness. That's impressed Porsche, but here Kaffer comes back in him at turn three. Up the inside, Audi on the inside, Porsche on the outside. Bamber is going to stay on the outside line. He stays in second place. Brilliant. So Makovic on a mission, on the curb, and back onto the road. And a sideways out of Pierre Kaffer's going to go round. Off he goes, it's a half spin. Has he kept the engine running? Yes. Hook a gear, blast away.
Oh, what's happened?
Did it go too soon and he's got to wait for the 94 seconds, or is it wasting time? Maybe it fired up and went. No, it's
The lights
not a
gone
problem.
out.
Yeah, it's stalled again.
He turned the lights on to start the engine up, then put them back on again.
Okay, so how long was that pit stop? We'll see in a moment. Alvaro Parent took over from the gears. Michele Rugolo took over from Passin Lathoris. Out goes the Porsche, and that was 97 seconds.
Slicks going on to the Audi.
97 seconds, the pit stop for the Porsche, so it went too soon.
Yes.
So the final pit stop for number 911 is cycled through. It's been a grueling day for the mechanics in the heat, in the rain. They're not done yet, but this hopefully for them will be the last pit stop. If there's another one, it's an unscheduled one, it means the car's got a problem. So Christopher Hassan, who started from the pits, he's going to lead the field to the flag. The gap between first and last is 104 laps now. 300 laps have just been done last time through by Christopher Hassan. The rest of the field still turning through as Laurens Vanthoor nervously watches. Christopher Hassan charging on as he looks for a second win in the Sepang 12hrs. A race that grew out of the Modica Millennium race. Initially there was a race at Shah Alam for people in protons. We are on the last lap. We are going to go just after midnight, because the drivers work their way now up through the final third of the lap, and it's going to be Christopher Hassan who will bring it home. He started last from the pits. He will come home 2 laps ahead of everybody else as he works his way now up over the timing line. It is a win for the Audi.
Check red flag, check red flag.
Christopher Hassan wins with Laurens Vanthoor and Robin Frinn's, and Laurens Vanthoor becomes the Intercontinental GT Challenge winner. The Phoenix engineers celebrate on the pit wall, and that concludes Laurens Vanthoor's Audi career. It has been a hugely successful one, and it ends up with another race win and another championship on top of it. Second across the line is going to be the Earl Bamber, Nick Tandy and Patrick Pilet Porsche, number 911. And the cheers are long and loud down at Phoenix Racing. Race winners and Laurens Vanthoor for Audi, a champion. And well done to everyone for a great race, says the race director, Alain Adam. Let's hear from the winners with John Watson.
Christopher Hasse, fantastic day for you. Did you ever imagine starting in the pit lane that you would win this race by 2 laps?
Honestly, not really. I mean, it was really tough for us in the beginning, starting from the back, because 12-hour race here, it is already a sprint race. But at the end, we found quite a good pace on distance. And I think actually this was the key for us to go to the front. Also the strategy of Phoenix Racing, Peter, was really, really fantastic. Yeah, for me, second time now to win the 12-hour Sepang. It's always tough here, temperatures. Yeah, and it's incredible. I mean, our car was running really well.
Robin, fantastic drive. You really got control of the race. Seemed to be absolutely nobody could get near you.
Yeah, at the beginning we were having a bit of a hard time. Porsche was always just edges out to the beginning. But then halfway, when the rain came, then we jumped and we were leading and we never give it away, so it was really good.
You're the winner of the International GT Championship, first of all. Winner of this race. It's your last race for the Audi brand. For the meantime, you have to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I don't really know what to feel. It's obviously very special. I spent a lot of time with them, and we've been through a lot of things and successful, and it's just a wonderful story to be able to be ended in this way. Yeah, it's a chapter in my life which I now have to turn around. At least I can turn around on a good note, and I'm not sad. I'm very happy that it all happened, and yeah.
Well done, fantastic.
So to confirm how they came across the line, Robin Frins, Christopher Hasse, Laurens Vanthoor, the winners ahead of Earl Bamber, Nick Tandy and Patrick Pilet, Pierre Caffer, René Rast and Marcus Winkelhock rounding out the top 3. The Ferrari of Lafouras, Rugolo and Pierre Guidi, 4th ahead of Ricard Lietz, Makovici and Michael Christensen, with Pro-Am honours going the way of Chen, Yoshimoto, Hosokawa and Yoshida. So the trophies presented then to the winning 3 teams, and the first of many podium ceremonies as René Rast throws the trophy in the air. So Laurens Vanthoor, the champion.
Well, thank you very much for joining us for the Motul Sepang 12 hours. What a thrilling season of GT racing it's been. We'll be back next year with another edition of the Intercontinental GT Challenge, another Sepang 12 hours, another Blancpain GT Series, and the new Blancpain GT Series Asia as well. It's going to be a busy year.